Yeah, it do look stiff, and it feel like it kind of like gliding on glass.
Animation you get when you're dribbling while pressing turbo is very cartoonish. It looks as if the player is moving too fast for the ball, or as if someone pressed a low speed fast forward button on some sort of video player.
The game still suffers from not enough and some bad animations. There's still some stiff and awkward movements as well, and passing still needs some work. Sometimes the passes don't look like they should even ever get to your target.
I just can't take this game seriously. After 2 years, I set my expectations so high, I was just waiting to be amazed. The trailer dropped, and they even flew me out to the event, and I saw more gameplay, and the angles were there. It looked so nice. Aside from the James Harden jump shot, which I called out in the video, it looked so nice. Improved from Live 16, we all know that, but to what avail? Live 16, that's where our standards are at. A game that's 2 years old that even in its prime underperformed massively.
Oh my god, baby. Oh my gosh, baby. The way she makes me.
What's going on, people? It's your boy Versus back here again with another video. And today is finally the day. It's finally time for us to unpack exactly what the hell happened to NBA Live and how EA managed to fumble not once, but twice with trying to bring NBA Live back into the basketball market. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into this. You guys know what to do. Hit that like button, slap that subscribe button if you're new, and buckle up. Hope you're comfortable. This is gonna be a long one.
Beat going crazy.
It's officially been 4 going on 5 years since NBA Live 19 was released. Yet again, another hiatus EA has put this franchise on. Believe it or not, there are people out there like me who have been asking the same question for some time now. When is EA going to drop another NBA Live? Much like the actual NBA between the years of 2014 and 2018, NBA fans were tired of the lack of competition during the Warriors and Cavs rivalry era and the super team era, right? Basketball gamers are in the same predicament. We are dying for some parity to come back to sports gaming. We're sick of the monopolies and want the privilege of choosing between what NBA titles we would rather play. Today in 2023, NBA Live 19 still has a few thousand people still playing the game every day faithfully, and even a very small niche of NBA Live content creators that are making videos. There is a demand for another competitor in NBA simulation games, but unfortunately EA is the only company that has the financial means to be a legit competitor with 2K. But they dropped the ball not once, but twice, bringing this franchise back to prominence. Now we can't look back and not acknowledge the very forgettable first attempt when EA released probably one of the worst trilogy of NBA games to ever be made by a major publisher with NBA Live 14, 15, and 16. Back when the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One released, we haven't had an NBA Live game since the embarrassment that was NBA Elite 11. At this point, it was clear EA's reign was over and the NBA 2K monopoly on simulation basketball had begun. While EA seemed to be stuck in old formulas and not making the much needed improvements to gameplay, physics, and graphical improvements, Take-Two Interactive with NBA 2K introduced with a 2K10 and 2K11, the most in-depth player creation mode with my career, and did the impossible, which was getting Michael Jordan back in a basketball game, along with his signature shoes in-game for the first time ever, and supported his return with an entire legacy game mode dedicated to giving us, the fans, the joy of playing out Jordan's most iconic performances in his career. Let's not forget to mention the introduction of crew mode as well. So if you take in consideration of all these exciting additions to the 2K franchise, and with them having the more fluid motion and in gameplay, it's safe to say that this was the first instance of EA's arrogance and lack of foresight to keep NBA Live innovative enough and allow 2K to surpass them. Also, it's worth mentioning around this time, NCAA college games were in the beginning stages of facing multiple lawsuits for profiting off of college athletes' likeness without giving them compensation. So college basketball games became essentially non-existent, and other basketball franchises like NBA Street became obsolete. The basketball world was transitioning from the Allen Iverson baggy bling era of the 2000s and moving on to the 2010s. With the flop of NBA Live at that point, 2K literally had zero competition for 3 whole years up until EA came out with NBA Live 14. And we definitely saw how great that panned out for the basketball gaming community. Yeah, we have literally no other games to play other than 2K. And yeah, now we're being overtaxed for a mid-ass product. A very below average product. Yeah. We're not gonna start. I've complained about this game way too much on this channel. Enough is enough. We're gonna leave it alone. We're gonna move on. We're gonna keep going. Yeah, we're gonna keep going. After 3 years had passed and a new generation of consoles was being introduced, EA decided it was the perfect time for them to bring back NBA Live with the PS4 and Xbox One. They had Kyrie Irving be their cover athlete, and after 3 years, you would think that they would have came back with a banger of a game, right? See the error of their ways. But nah. Not so much.
Blake Griffin. Oh my God, body types are non-existent. Cash, that's Kobe. All right, maybe not. Break, let's get it. Fast break, that's Kobe. That's the bean. Why is everybody so slow?
This game was so laughably terrible on all criteria for a game. It was a no-brainer for us to choose 2K over Live, especially what they were doing with my favorite 2K14. You know, looking back at the situation, and it's actually quite amazing and really impressive of how quickly EA had little to like zero fucks to give about NBA Live's comeback. And NBA Live 14 came back after 3 years of letting 2K dominate and soak up all the demand for an NBA game. They brought back Live with PS2 level quality of graphics and gameplay so robotic. It is so obvious that they did not even factor mocap into their budget. Like, this game was a complete laughing stock. At this point, it was very clear that EA had no type of care anymore about competing in the basketball market. And it kind of made sense because they had their own monopoly with NFL games with Madden. So it made sense that that became their priority. And also later on, we saw them prioritize FIFA as well, because there was a large amount of profit that they were making from the Ultimate Team modes within both games. So it was very evident that at this point, NBA Live was going to be on the back burner moving forward. So we're not even going to waste time talking about Live 15 and 16, because much like Live 14, the games continue to just be absolutely bad. EA, out of pure laziness and not caring enough to spend money on a new game engine, they unfortunately kept choosing to produce their games in the Ignite engine, which plays a very big role in lack of overall fluidity and player motion, giving NBA Live its trademark stiff animations, glitchy collision physics, the bland lighting, and the overall lifelessness in textures and colors that we see in game. With 2K further asserting its dominance at this point, EA pulled the plug on Live again and wouldn't return for 2 years until NBA Live 18 released. This is a pivotal point for me and other basketball gamers like me who started to experience 2K fatigue. This fatigue started for me personally after enduring an entire year of 2K17. On the contrary to popular belief, 2K17 was and is one of the worst 2Ks to be made, in my opinion. Now look, I know I just hurt a lot of feelings. I'm not about to get into any details of why I dislike and hate this game in this video. If you want to hear my full breakdown on why I hate 2K17, feel free to watch my 2K tier list video. Put your love for 2K17 in the comments and air your grievances over there. But despite any disagreements we may have about it, I think a good number of us can agree that 2K17 represented a lot of things about 2K moving forward as a game and also Take-Two Interactive as a company. Mainly, we can agree that 2K peaked at 2K17 and started to slowly decline to what we are experiencing in modern 2Ks today. Because looking back, despite the other sleazy things 2K started doing, ultimately I just stopped having fun playing the game, and that's the whole point of why gamers play games in the first place. We just want to have fun and enjoy some escapism at the end of the day.
EA Sports, it's in the game.
When NBA Live 18 released, EA delivered exactly what I asked for, a playable basketball game that I could find enough enjoyment in to keep me coming back playing every day. And I have 900 hours of playtime to prove it. Live 18, I like to say, was a breath of fresh air, not only in the sense of breaking away from the same rinse and repeat 2K formula, but also the huge overhaul and reimagining of the NBA Live experience. This game wasn't just another half-assed NBA game. This was different. This game had real thought put into it, real concepts and ideas. For the first time in a very long time, EA actually tried to make a good basketball game. But remember, key term that I did use was they tried. They tried to make a good basketball game. And not to say that this game wasn't a huge improvement over previous installments of Live that were just completely just ass, and I don't even know why they bothered to release them. But there are a lot of things that did take away from this release to truly make it a great comeback and make it a actual competitor with 2K at the time. So with that being said, I do want to address a lot of the positives that I enjoyed and kept me coming back to the game over and over again before we do address the unfortunate shortcomings that pretty much undermined the entire game. Truly what made this game a nice change of pace was its simplicity and focus on purely making a game about just playing basketball. No ridiculous attempts of gimmicks, forced advertising, and cringe attempts at creating a basketball drama let's play. Something that 2K for like whatever reason thinks that that's what we want every game, some dramatic storyline. But NBA Live 18 brings it back to the basics. Hooping is the only thing that matters. Nothing more, nothing less. It seemed that EA was trying to make the right decisions this time around, and one of those great decisions was not having microtransactions available to buy your created players overall. Not locking attributes away behind a paywall either, which in my opinion played a big difference in the game not imploding on itself. NBA Live 18 brought back the grind to 99. You had to work for that 99 overall if you wanted it. There was no shortcuts, which was a small detail that I appreciated as someone who grew up during the early 2000s. Every game you played back then, you had to grind and truly get a sense of accomplishment. earning that high level, unlocking everything in a game felt rewarding because you know the amount of time and effort it took to get there. They incorporated the crates concept with different timed events every week to get exclusive shoes and clothes was a nice touch. And I do mean by every means of exclusive, because if you weren't on the game during a specific event, you won't be seeing that drop again, my guy. I'm so serious. Like, you know, there was a couple of drops that I missed that I was pissed. Also, where this game truly shines the most concerning online play was bringing realistic courts into the game for players to compete on, from Venice Beach and Rooker Park and even the Drew League gym. Not to mention, you had 4 different ways to play NBA Live just within the one mode itself, with live events, live run, the Pro-Am, or play your NBA career in the league. Outside of that, you had Ultimate Team, online head-to-head, and franchise mode. Besides playing with my creative players online, Ultimate Team was one of my favorite modes on NBA Live. Still till this day, I think Live 18 was a great example of how a fantasy mode is supposed to be done. What's going on, people? It's your boy Versus coming at you as editor Versus, literally in the middle of editing this video, and I just felt the need to actually expound on what I just said right there of why I think that this is exactly how a fantasy mode should be done. Now, I can't speak on for Madden Ultimate Team or FIFA Ultimate Team, but I can speak on my team for 2K. Anybody that is familiar with these game modes, you know how it goes. If you want to play the game, you got to pay up, okay? You got to pay big money to win also. If you want the best players, you got to spend hundreds and hundreds to damn near thousands of dollars, I'm not lying, to be able to have all of the full experience and access to these game modes. So it's not only built on a pay to win model, it's also built on a pay to play model as well. You know, so to do the grinding that you would need to do in these game modes, you have to play it a lot, right? But the only way to do that is if you have an abundance of contracts. And the only way you can get a bunch of contracts is if you do what? Open up those packs. And for the people that are unfamiliar with what I'm talking about as far as the contract aspect, contracts are basically just fixed small amounts of allowances that you get for your players to be able to be eligible to play in games. So they get deducted by game basis. So you play 5 games, all the players on your team lose 5 contracts. And so with that being said, you run out, you're pretty much assed out, right? But no, you are fine. You can get more contracts. You just got to spend some more real world money to get more contracts, because the only way to get contracts is to do what? Bust open packs. No pause, all resume. Yes, you need to open packs just to get a small amount of contracts. And as far as in 2K is concerned with my team, you could go get them out of the auction market, but I don't think that you could really even get that many because you have to use that with in-game currency. But you get so little of the in-game currency, and the only way to accumulate in-game currency is to keep playing the game mode more consistently, but you run out of contracts, so it's like that's not even a real viable option. But in the case of Live 18's Ultimate Team, that was not the case. You know, you get contracts in a large abundance, and there was a dedicated contract pack that you can re-up on when you ran low on contracts, and it was at such a very low price, and you can get it with the in-game currency. And you get such a large amount of that because you're allowed to play the game quite a bit before you do start running low on contracts. Yeah, it wasn't really a factor. And you could actually just play with stress-free, not worrying to have to, oh God, man, all right, I got to put another $40 in this game mode just to be able to get contracts for my players. So I thought that was really dope and cool. And it was like really a relief and user-friendly to see that the devs actually wanted you to play the game. And like, believe it or not, it actually made me want to spend money in the game. You know how these companies operate. Fuck you, pay me. Right? So, but that's it. That's all I wanted to really expound on. And yeah, back to the video. Ultimate Team was the only mode in this game that had microtransactions available. with 500 fantasy challenges to play through and infuriating legend challenges to get the best version of greats like Magic Johnson or Black Mask Miami Heat LeBron James. LUT coins were actually at a very surprisingly affordable price, and the packs were going crazy. Okay, them pack odds had a lot of heats busting out those packs, bro. Pause. LUT was a very nice added layer to the offering of fun you can have on NBA Live 18. And honorable mention to add to the positives, the fact that there was lobbies and not any got next spots was a big plus for me personally. Okay, the got next spot is absolutely the dumbest thing you can add to a basketball game, because I swear, man, there's nothing more that I love than waiting 5 to 10 minutes around between games to just hoop in a freaking video game. I love it in real life. Let's put that in a video game. But while there are a lot of things EA got right with this game, there was also just as much wrong with this game as well. The number one issue that was holding back Live 18 was absolutely its gameplay, which I will bring up a positive about gameplay. NBA Live did create a defensive system that helped balance out gameplay. If you were an offensive player, then you were really good at what you chose to be. If you were a slasher, you dominated at the rim. If you were a shooter, well, you was a knockdown sniper. But if you chose to be a defender, you could shut down all that shit. And with the on-ball defense and block mechanics and bump system based on player timing purely, if you were really good at countering and timing good offensive players, being a defender in NBA Live was pretty freaking fun, and you're a menace. And it didn't hurt that you had the offensive skills to back up your lockdown defense. Unlike 2K, where you're a supreme defender, that means you have to be limited on offense. I just had to mention that before we unpacked these issues. All right, here we go. Remember earlier I mentioned how EA doubled down and kept developing their sports titles with the Ignite engine, right? Well, sadly, NBA Live 18 was developed using the Ignite engine once again. So pretty much the phrase "same shit, different day" can be applied to this a billion times over. Live 18 had the same issues that has been plaguing this franchise: terrible, unpredictable physics, lifeless looking player models, canned animations, and stiff player motion. But I will say that you could tell that motion was a little more fluid compared to older releases. It's safe to say and assume that mocapping was put in the budget this time around, but not enough of a drastic change to where it was appealing enough for the casual to want to pick up a NBA Live title in bunches. And truly, at the end of the day, that really is all that matters, is gameplay. Having the sexiest graphics and textures are great and all, but gameplay will always be a make or break for any game in any genre. And as much as I liked what EA did with the one player mode, I feel like a few things I wish they did was giving players more freedom to upgrade more attributes on our one players. Now, given this system was based off of them leaning really hard into the role-playing thing, so pick your playstyle and be really good at that specific skill set of things. But it would have been nice to have the option to upgrade my speed a little more or improve my ball handling instead of only having like 7 upgradable main attributes. Also, what I think that may have hurt new player integration was the fact that NBA Live 18 launched with Live Run only being 5v5, which was not the best online experience, and in the end I think was a turnoff for converting 2K players, because everyone knows that most people on 2K are playing 3v3 or 2v2. 5v5 is one of those things that are only fun when you have a full squad to play with, but 3v3 you can manage to have more fun and be able to get more touches of the ball if you run solo with some randoms, right? 5v5, you might get lucky and get 2 opportunities to score. And that's just it. People want to be able to score. So with that pretty much being a big mistake on EA's part, I know every time I played, I was like, man, I sure wish Live had a 3v3 mode. And sure enough, eventually though, the devs absolutely added a 3v3 mode, and it was one of the most exciting things as a live player to see after you got that update to your game.
On the tip, yeah. Hey, this is lit, yo.
This is crazy. Oh, this is crazy.
Where you going? Where you going? Oh, I had a full bar too. It was full white. Like this court, it's basically half court, just a small full court. I like how different it is, bro. I just like how different, like, it feels so good.
So not for nothing, the devs were listening to the community and gave a fuck enough to get us a 3v3 mode. In closing, looking at what NBA Live 18 was, it definitely wasn't the game to directly challenge 2K for the crown of best NBA simulation game. But what Live did was give the community a choice. And if you were open-minded enough and tired enough of 2K, you could definitely find a level of satisfaction in firing up your NBA Live 18 app. Live 18 was a new foundation that was full of endless potential to maybe one day be 2K's equal again. I truly did believe at the time, if this was the new direction of Live and EA was focused on making good decisions for this game, if they kept releasing, literally by this point in 2023, Live probably could be at the level of 2K or even better. Sadly, with the release of Live 19, it was made clear that wasn't going to be the case. So with us reading this juncture in the video, I feel like when talking about Live 19, I can kind of really just speak more freely about it because I am currently playing NBA Live 19 and have been. NBA Live 19 is what I will call not an upgrade, not a downgrade. It's more so the game just pretty much stayed the same with some minor improvements. Live 19 absolutely did build and expand on what was already there that was established with Live 18, which was keeping the same unique progression system and keeping microtransactions out of the one player mode, which was still a nice touch, and you can really grind and get that 99. Online, they gave us more locations to play at, and by the end of the devs actually abandoning the game for good, I mean, we had definitely like 10 plus locations to play at with added customized courts as well that were with the clothing drops that they had with the live events. And they just expanded on that and added more to it. So, you know, we had a lot more players to emulate. You know, they added players like John Wall, Jason Kidd, Larry Bird. Also, some reworking had happened as well to the play styles. So the hybrid wing that was in NBA Live 18 actually became the playmaker, which, you know, now you, instead of being kind of like a Giannis Antetokounmpo type of player build style, you became more like a LeBron James finesse, point forward type of play style. And they added the new game mode, which was the court battles, but I'm not 100% sure that a lot of people really like used it. It was a popular mode that people played, but you know, it was there for the sake of adding more layers to ways to play your one mode. And also on top of that, they did give us private courts from that. So, you know, that was kind of cool. And you could actually have the ability to have private games that you can play with friends, so you don't always have to go online, which was actually, I think, was a good idea in addition. So NBA Live 19 was definitely filled with the same things that, you know, you enjoyed in Live 18 and expounded on it. But where this game absolutely fell short and how EA just completely undermined any type of success from this release is the fact that they produced the game in the damn Ignite engine again. You know what, just kind of looking at it retrospectively in that kind of lens, it's just really impossible to think of any excuses or real reasoning of why would they put this game back into the Ignite engine knowing that it's flopped from all the way from NBA Elite 11, Live 14, 15, 16, 18, and you telling me in Live 19 they're just gonna do it again. I don't get it. I don't fucking understand it. It's like EA didn't want Live to succeed for some reason. If you look at the other titles that EA has under their publishing mark, Battlefield in the Frostbite engine, Battlefront 1 and 2 in the Frostbite engine, and Madden in all of its problematic glory is in the Frostbite engine. It's been like a hot mess, but still it got into a new game engine. FIFA has the Frostbite engine. I don't understand why every other title that EA has gets to be developed in the Frostbite engine and EA gets some kind of weird like punishment to have it in the Ignite engine. It just doesn't make any sense. And I can't just think of anything, like I said, other than that EA didn't want Live to succeed and they hate Live. I don't know. It just seems like some kind of self-hatred for me at this point. I just don't get it. There's literally no benefit in putting it in the Ignite engine. You're purposely not letting your intellectual property succeed. Now, am I saying that the Frostbite engine is the end all be all and that that's the only thing that would have saved Live? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Because, I mean, the Ignite engine clearly was not working and outdated and it needed a new engine. So with that being said, I think there's a very strong case to be made that if Live was put into the Frostbite engine and say it had the same problematic issues that was present in NFL Madden, still, I think that Live would still be 10 times better in a buggy Frostbite engine having issues over an Ignite engine that is completely outdated and a freaking fossil. And another crazy thing about NBA Live, they completely ruined LUT. Okay, they completely ruined Ultimate Team Mode in NBA Live. I actually liked the Ultimate Team Mode that they offered in Live 18, but this Ultimate Team Mode in Live 19 literally doesn't make any sense. Ultimate Team in Live 19 looks like the meeting of the executives. They just came in with the devs and was like, okay, Ultimate Team on the board, it's up. So yeah, let's just throw a bunch of shit together and make it seem like there's actually something to do in this mode, but there's really no rhyme or reason for anything. Not have any kind of continuity as whatsoever in this mode, you know? Good, okay, green lighted, move on. Yeah, that's literally how I feel. That I'm pretty sure how that went, because that's what it looks like. As much as I like playing Live 19, because it does have still an enjoyment factor that I will not find in 2K anymore. But the fact of the matter is that it's sad to see that EA they just don't give a fuck. They have ran out of fucks to give for this IP again. And I don't know if we're ever going to get another Live ever again, right? Because it's crazy how it's been like 4 going on 5 years and all we've been left with was this really vague ass message that they have still left up on the EA Sports NBA Live Twitter. So yeah, man, it's just kind of like we're all up in limbo. And in closing to our video here, I do find myself looking at pretty much a span of a bunch of games from a company that just doesn't give a fuck about creating an actual good game. And it does leave us still with the same question after looking at all of the evidence. I mean, when is NBA Live going to come back? I mean, that's still the operative question here. But you guys go into the comment section and let me know how you feel after watching this. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you. This is our very first video essay. And yeah, man, I will see you guys on the next video. I'm out.